Hey everyone, it's Luther from Anime Girl, and I am back again to take a look at this week's shipments. This week should be pretty straightforward. We've got a couple boxes of figures and a few boxes of model kits. Not a ton of stuff, but since this week's going to be a little bit light, I think I'll go ahead and throw some clips from last week's shipment in this video, since I wasn't able to get last week's video out in time. Granted, all the stuff that I will show from last week we do still have in stock, so it's not like I'm showing you bad footage or anything. And don't forget, you can use the timestamps down in the video description to jump to specific item types, series, or manufacturers. So with all that said, let's go ahead and get started. Starting off today's figures, we're going to take a look at a couple of nicer scale figures. I think both of these are 1/7 scale, but we've got a restock on this nice Saber Altar figure as well as this nice Edward Elric figure, both from Kotobukiya. Then here we've got a Amaterasu from Okami. This is made by First 4 Figures, and it's actually a really nice looking figure. And then while this isn't quite a scale figure, it's definitely a step up for your standard prize figure, the JoJo's figure. Here we've got some, that time I got Reincarnated as a slime figures. We got a few prize figures, as well as the set of World Collectible figures, which is just a line of minifigures. Then here's a stack of One Piece figures. We've got a couple figures of Luffy as well as one of Eustace and Sabo. Here's a stack that should make a lot of people happy. We've got a restock on a number of Demon Slayers figures as well as this new Nezuko Vibration Stars figure. Moving over here, we've got some Shonen figures. We've got Gen from Dr. Stone, Goku riding on his flying Nimbus. We've got Char Zaku that's half clear, and then here is this really shiny Kamen Rider. I'm not familiar with this specific rider, but he's definitely very sparkly. Here we've got some new rather tasty looking Kirby figures. Here's a pretty nice looking Shinobu figure. Now I've got two different Sailor Moon figures that the boxes assure me are different. And here's a new figure from Rent-A-Girlfriend. Now here is a wall of ReZero figures, mostly Rems and Rams. There's a couple really nice ones in here, like the Sakura Rem, and then we've got a couple that are going to be both in a standard coloration and a pearl coloration, so they've got some sparkle to them, like the Princess Kaguya Ram and the Snow Girl Rem. Here's some kind of miscellaneous series figures. We've got a couple of Fates, as well as some from my youth romantic comedy, The Rascal, Dreams of Bunny Girl Senpai, and How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend. Didn't get a ton of Bandai kits in this week, because there's a couple of smaller Gundams like this basic Haro, as well as this no-name rifle. But we did get some restocks on these entry grade Dekus and Gokus. Here we've got a few more One Piece ships, as well as a high grade gun tank. And here we've got a couple of new Bandai kits. These are non-Gundams. We've got a black version of the Amplified Metal Garurumon, as well as the Cybaster from Super Robot Wars, which is a new series Bandai is starting to put kits out for. Here we've got some new SDs. These are from the World Hero series, which I think is a pretty slick looking line of SDs. I'd be curious to build some to really see how nice they look in person. But the promotional artwork I've seen for them definitely makes this seem like a really interesting line of model kits. Here we've got a restock on the One Piece Marine ship, as well as some more of the Haro kitties, and a couple of Pokemon model kits. We've got a few new kits from Volks this week. We've got the Knight of Gold AT version from the 5-Star Stories, as well as this new Fiore kit of Cosmo and Comet, which I'm very intrigued by. I really like the space aesthetic. And we've got a couple of restocks on the Fiores, like the Rose and the Iris. Here we've got some Kotobukiya model kits. We've got a couple of these Tomotu models, which are just helpful little robots for your model girls. Here we've got a restock on the Bullet Knight Lancer, as well as some dress up parts. This is like a weathered cloak. Here we've got some restocks on the Mekotaro line from Hasegawa. Here we've got the Chubu 01, which I built one of these and it's actually a pretty nice little kit. We've got a couple more of the tiny Mekotaro mates, as well as some of the Wekos. We've got a restock on the Milk and Cacao and the Cream Soda and Crystal Gold, which are very fun looking kits. Here's a new kit from Crusher Joe, the Norma. For all of you model girl builders, got a couple of 1/12 scale pieces of model kit furniture that will work with a lot of the Megami devices and Frame Arms Girl model kits, just in terms of scale. Here we got some more of the Hasegawa egg planes in, which are just fun little, like almost like SD or chibi planes. Then if you're looking for a build that's a little more advanced, we've got some of the Eggplane Mascot Girls as their own standalone model kits. Now these are resin kits, so they do require glue and paint, but these will stand roughly 1/12 scale, so they're roughly in line with the size of the Megami Devices and Frame Arm Girl kits from Kotobukiya. Here are some fun tank model kits from Meng. I believe these are from an MMO called World War II, but these are like spin-off colors. And we've also got this nice little tool set from Meng as well, which has a pretty solid pair of nippers and a nice hobby knife. But if you're looking for some really nice tools, we finally got some God Hand nippers in, which are supposed to be the peak of quality in terms of nippers. Here we've got a couple of girls from the model manufacturer Fine Molds, as well as a resin kit of Yotsuba, whose style is based on Machine Krieger. Here we've got a couple more model kits from Future Boy Conan, which is an old TV show that Miyazaki worked on. Then here we've got a couple of car model kits from Future GPX Cyber Formula, which is a racing anime put out by Sunrise, as well as this model kit of a Japanese liner truck or a Japanese freight hauler. Or here we've got a few new kits from Suyata, which is kind of just some army men, and then a robot beetle, which I think is really cool looking. Then we did get some more of the nut models in, which I built the peanut, and I thought that was actually a nice little build. It went together pretty well. It's got some really good detail and articulation. So for being a relatively new model kit manufacturer, they do some really nice work. Now here are some models that are kind of not our standard fare here at the shop, but it's some Japanese architecture which I think are really interesting. Got a nice shrine as well as a couple of Japanese castles. I do believe these kits are glued together, but I think they're at least somewhat colored. And continue on with the architecture, we do have a 1/2000 scale Japanese government office building, which is quirky to say the least. And we also have this model kit of like a art body or a blank body. And here are some really interesting stands for model kits. I think they're pretty universal with what they work with. Then here are some option parts from Wave. We've got these really nice colored Q sabers or beam sabers, as well as some mono eye replacement parts. We also have a bunch of option parts from Kotobukiya. Most of these I think are restocks, like the Wolfwood's Cross or the drill. But some of these we've never had before, like the beam shield and the electric guitar axe. Lastly, for Kotobukiya, we just have a flying base. And finally for today, looks like we got some playmats. We've got a couple of Jujutsu Kaisen playmats, which I'm sure a lot of people are going to be excited about. And then some Made in Abyss playmats. And here's some restocks on the ergonomic mouse pads, although I do think the Sonico mouse pad's new. And that's going to do it for today's unboxing, or that's going to do it for today's shipment. That's going to be a habit that's hard to break. Definitely didn't get the biggest shipment in this week, but we got a lot of interesting things, a lot of cool looking model kits and new figures. But as always, if you want to stay fully up to date with what we get in at the shop, be sure to check out our Facebook and our website where we post full lists of what comes in. Those lists usually go out a couple days before this video comes out, as well as you can also check our YouTube, our Instagram, or our Twitter, where quick little videos will usually go out the day we get a shipment in. So you can take a quick look, and then you can always come back here to get a little bit more detail in seeing what items we get in. And as always, thanks for watching.